There's something every man needs to hear, and most won't. Just because a woman gives you attention doesn't mean she values you. She might enjoy your presence. She might like how you treat her. But deep down, she doesn't respect you. She doesn't see you as someone she could ever truly admire. And here's the truth. A woman who doesn't value you will show it not with her words, but with her actions. Today, we're going to break down the 5 clear behaviors of a woman who doesn't see your worth. And once you recognize them, you'll never be fooled again. This isn't about hate. It's about waking up. If you're tired of being confused, played with, or ignored. If you want clarity, peace, and self-respect, you're in the right place. Let's begin. 1. She lets you stay, but won't let you lead. She'll talk to you. She'll reply to your messages. She might even smile at your compliments, call you when she's feeling low, or ask you to come over when it's convenient for her. She lets you orbit her life. She gives you just enough attention to keep you hopeful. But the moment you speak with confidence, the moment you try to lead with clarity, something shifts. Suddenly, she pulls back. She rolls her eyes when you try to be serious. She calls you controlling when you set a boundary. She accuses you of being too intense when you ask for respect. Not because you're wrong, but because she never planned to follow your lead. She wants your presence, but not your influence. She wants your loyalty, but not your standards. She wants your time, but not your voice. She wants to feel like she has a man in her life, without ever honoring you as one. She likes the image of you strong, steady, protective, but only when it serves her. Only when it makes her feel safe. Only when it benefits her situation. But when it comes time for her to give something back, respect, trust, consideration, she retreats. She challenges everything you say. She downplays your ideas. She makes you feel like your instincts can't be trusted. And that's where the damage begins. Because you're doing everything right. You're showing up. You're being consistent. You're speaking with honesty. But she doesn't want you to lead. She just wants you to stay. You think her staying in contact means progress. You think because she hasn't pushed you away, she must care. But in reality, she's not close to you. She's just comfortable using what you bring. You're not the man she respects. You're the man she manages. She keeps you just close enough to feel involved, but far enough that you never have influence. She wants to receive all the benefits of your masculine energy, your support, your structure, your consistency, but she doesn't want to be guided. She doesn't want to be protected. She doesn't want to be led. Because true leadership requires her to listen, and that's the one thing she refuses to do. And here's what most men don't realize until it's too late. A woman who values you will welcome your leadership. She will respect your voice. She will honor the masculine structure you bring. But a woman who only wants what she can take from you will make you feel guilty for having a backbone. She'll treat your strength like a threat. She'll make you feel like setting boundaries is wrong. And if you stay too long in that dynamic, you start shrinking just to keep her close. You water yourself down. You stop making decisions. You hold back your truth. Not because you're weak, but because you're afraid of pushing her away. But here's the truth. If you have to silence your leadership to keep her, then she was never really yours. A woman who won't let you lead doesn't trust you. And without trust, there's no respect. And without respect, there's no real connection, only use. You're not a man in her life. You're a tool in her world. Useful, dependable, replaceable. Not loved, just needed. And you were never made to be someone's utility. You were made to be someone's rock, a foundation, a leader. So, ask yourself, does she allow you to be who you are? Does she honor your mind, your vision, your strength? Or does she just keep you close enough to benefit, while rejecting everything that makes you a man? Because if she won't let you lead, then what she wants isn't love, it's control. And a man who knows his worth doesn't fight to stay in a space where he's not allowed to stand tall. He walks, not out of ego, but out of truth. 2. She keeps you waiting on purpose. She never gives you a real yes, but she never gives you a solid no either. You're stuck in the middle, not close enough to feel secure, but not far enough to walk away without guilt. She tells you she likes spending time with you, but somehow you're still not her boyfriend. She flirts when it suits her. She texts you late at night when she's lonely. She asks for your support when life gets heavy. But when you ask where this is going, she changes the subject. She says, "Let's not label things." She tells you, "I just want to go with the flow." But the truth is that flow only moves in one direction, her comfort. You're in her life on her terms. When it's convenient, when she's in the mood, when she's not busy entertaining someone else, she gives you crumbs of affection. A compliment here, a memory there, a kiss that makes you think maybe you matter. Just enough to keep you emotionally hooked, but never enough to feel loved. It's a cycle of highs and lows that keep you guessing. One day she's warm. She laughs at your jokes. She texts first. She opens up. The next day she's cold. She leaves you on read. She's distant. She says she just needs space. You keep asking yourself, what did I do wrong? But it's not about you. It's about control. She likes the power of knowing you'll stay, even when she's unclear. Even when she doesn't show up. Even when she gives you nothing real to hold on to. You are not her man, but you're also not just a friend. You're somewhere in between, a space that looks like a relationship on the surface, but is completely empty underneath. Here's what's really going on. She enjoys the attention, but she doesn't want the responsibility. She likes knowing someone's there, but doesn't want to commit to you. She wants the comfort of you without the cost of choosing you. She's not confused. She's comfortable. Comfortable having you as the safety net, the fallback option, the man who gives her security while she keeps the door open for someone else. And the longer you stay in that space, hoping she'll choose you, the more you abandon yourself. You start shrinking. You become more patient, more understanding. You lower your standards, not because you want to, but because you hope it'll finally be your turn. But your turn never comes, because this isn't a relationship. It's a waiting room, and she never plans to call your name. You start losing your spark. You stop focusing on your purpose. You begin to measure your worth by how often she replies, how warm she acts, how long she stays. And in doing that, you stop being the man you once were. Here's the truth. A woman who values you won't leave you confused. She won't dangle your hope in front of you like a prize. She won't keep you on standby while she explores other options. Real love is clear. It's intentional. It's not afraid to name what it is. So if she keeps you waiting, dodging, stalling, it's because she doesn't see you as the one. She sees you as someone to talk to when she's bored, someone to lean on when she's tired, someone to keep around, until someone else shows up. And if you stay in that place too long, you don't just lose her, you lose your sense of self. You forget what it feels like to be respected. You forget what it feels like to be wanted, not just used. So here's your reminder. You don't need to wait to be chosen. You don't need to stay in limbo, hoping someone finally sees your worth. You already have worth. You already have value. But to protect it, you have to walk away from places that confuse it. You were not made to sit on the sidelines of your own story. You were made to lead it. So stop waiting for her to give you an answer. Her silence is the answer. And the strongest thing you can do now is leave the waiting room and start walking towards something real. 3. She pushes your boundaries just to see if you'll break. This is one of the biggest red flags a man can face in a relationship, and the reason it's so dangerous is because it doesn't always come in obvious ways. It starts slow, like a drip on stone. At first, it's so small you ignore it, but over time, it wears you down. She doesn't yell at you in the beginning. She doesn't curse you out or tell you to leave. It's more subtle than that. Maybe she jokes about something sensitive, a part of you that you trusted her with. She says it with a smile, so you laugh it off, even though it stings. Maybe she tells you she'll call you back, and she doesn't. You wait. You stay patient. You excuse it. You tell yourself, she must be busy. Maybe I'm being needy. Then she makes plans with you, cancels last minute, and doesn't even apologize. It bothers you, but again, you don't say anything. You don't want to seem difficult. You don't want to scare her off. So you let it go. But here's what's happening underneath all that. She's watching. She's paying attention. She's learning something about you every time you choose silence over honesty, tolerance over truth, peacekeeping over boundary setting. What she's learning is this: you'll take it. You'll let it slide. You'll stay no matter how many small cuts she makes. She's not just having a bad day. She's testing your limits. She wants to know how far she can go before you finally push back. And if you never do, that tells her everything she needs to know. You won't leave. You'll stay. No matter how disrespected you feel. No matter how much she pulls away. And this is where things change, not just in how she treats you, but in how she sees you. Because here's something most men don't understand. Once a woman stops respecting you, love fades right behind it. She can't admire you if she doesn't respect you. She can't feel safe with you if she knows she can walk all over you. What begins as small jabs turns into real damage. She gets bolder. She talks to you with less kindness. She says things she knows will hurt, just to see if you'll speak up. She goes cold, pulls away, comes back when it suits her. You confront her, and suddenly, you're the problem. You're too emotional. You're being dramatic. You're overthinking everything. She flips it on you, and now you're confused. You question your own feelings. You think, maybe I really am the issue. But deep down, there's a voice in your chest, that quiet gut feeling that says, something isn't right. That voice is telling you the truth. And every time you ignore it, every time you talk yourself out of what you know is disrespectful, you hand over a little piece of your power. And here's what makes it worse. The more pieces you give away, the smaller you become in her eyes. Not because she wants to see you that way, but because she can't respect a man who won't protect himself. Women may test you, but they don't want you to fail. They want to see that you have the strength to walk when your dignity is on the line. Because a man who lets everything slide, who allows himself to be chipped away just to avoid conflict, loses not just the woman, but himself. And the damage isn't just emotional. It goes deeper. You stop trusting your own judgment. You become hesitant, unsure, lost in your own mind. You start to think that maybe this is what relationships are supposed to feel like: exhausting, unbalanced, uncertain. You start to believe that maybe asking for respect is asking for too much. But it's not. You're not asking for a trophy. You're asking for basic human decency, for peace, for honesty, for consistency. A woman who values you won't play games with your boundaries. She won't keep poking just to see how far she can go. She won't disrespect your time, your mind, or your emotions just to feel powerful. And a man who respects himself won't let it get that far. He doesn't scream, he doesn't beg. He doesn't try to force her to see his worth. He just walks calmly, clearly, and with dignity. Because here's the hard truth. If she has to break you to be close to you, she was never meant to be close to you in the first place. You don't prove your value by suffering. You don't earn love by being silent when you're hurt. You don't win her heart by losing your backbone. You win by standing tall, even when it costs you her attention. You win by saying, "I know what I deserve, and I refuse to accept anything less." And if she walks away because of that, let her, because a woman who truly wants you in her life won't try to break you to keep you. She'll rise to meet you. She'll respect your limits. She'll see your strength and love you even more for it. 4. She stops listening because she's already checked out. You speak, but it feels like you're talking into a tunnel. You open your mouth, your heart, your thoughts, but what comes back is emptiness, a glance, a distracted nod, maybe a fake smile that doesn't reach her eyes. You feel it, and that's the thing. Even if your mind tries to ignore it, your body knows. Your heart knows. She used to care. She used to lean in. She used to look at you like your words mattered. Not just what you said, but how you felt when you said it. There was a time when your voice could calm her, inspire her, make her feel something real. But now, she scrolls while you talk. She zones out. She cuts you off. She finishes your sentences, not because she understands, but because she wants you to hurry up and be done. She's still there in the room, but she's not really there. She's physically present, but emotionally absent. Mentally somewhere else. Spiritually detached from the man sitting right in front of her. You bring her your day. You share your frustrations. You speak from your soul. And she gives you the bare minimum. A dry, an "oh, really?" with no real interest behind it. Then silence, or worse, a change of subject that tells you exactly where you stand, somewhere below her priorities. And this is what hurts the most, not the silence itself, but what it means. It means she's no longer invested. It means you've become so familiar, so routine, that your presence no longer stirs anything in her. Your background noise, like a song that once moved her, now just playing in the background while she scrolls TikTok. But here's the trap. You start to fight for her attention. You think maybe if you say it better, or if you open up more, or if you stay calm, kind, patient, she'll come back. She'll tune in. She'll care. So you over-explain. You repeat yourself. You tiptoe around her mood. But none of that works. Because the issue isn't the way you're speaking. The issue is that she's already gone. Not physically, not officially, but emotionally, she's checked out. She used to want to know what was on your mind. Now she doesn't even ask how you're doing. She used to ask about your dreams, your plans, your thoughts about life. Now she barely remembers what you said the day before. Not because you're forgettable, but because you've stopped mattering in her mind. And let's be honest, that crushes you. You feel small. You start wondering, am I boring? Am I too much? Did I lose my edge? You don't realize it at first, but little by little, her silence rewires you. You doubt yourself. You shrink. You stop speaking with the same energy because you're tired of being met with nothing. But it's not you. It's not your voice. It's not your stories. It's that she's stopped valuing you. And when a woman stops valuing the man, she stops valuing his words. And what's even more dangerous than being ignored is the lie you start telling yourself to stay. You say, she's just stressed. She's tired. It'll get better. But it doesn't. Because the truth is, she's comfortable, not committed. She's used to you being there, but not excited that you are. And you staying in that space, hoping she'll start listening again, doesn't make her love you more. It just makes her take you less seriously. Men, here's the cold truth most won't say out loud. When your voice no longer matters in a relationship, your presence is next. First, she tunes you out. Then she turns away. Emotionally, intellectually, romantically. Until one day you wake up beside a woman who used to light up when you spoke, and now she can't even look you in the eyes. She's already imagined life without you. She's decided your thoughts aren't worth her energy. She's made peace with losing you before you've even left. And if you don't do something about it, you'll start losing yourself too. You'll stop speaking with clarity. You'll stop leading with confidence. You'll stop being the man you were when she first wanted to hear everything you had to say. Don't let that happen. Don't let your voice become small just to keep someone who already stopped listening. Don't let the slow death of communication destroy your sense of power. You deserve more. You deserve to be heard, not tolerated. You deserve curiosity, not coldness. You deserve a woman who leans in when you speak, not one who checks her phone, not one who gives you robotic replies, not one who makes you feel invisible while you're sitting right in front of her. So if you've been talking and all you get is silence in return, it's time to stop talking and start listening to your gut. Because deep down you already know. This isn't love. This isn't partnership. This is emotional starvation. And you were never built to beg for attention. You were built to lead, to speak with authority, to share your vision with someone who believes in it. Someone who listens because she respects the man speaking. And if that's not what you're getting, then don't stay. Not out of fear. Not out of comfort. Walk away with your voice intact and your dignity unshaken. Because the right woman won't tune you out. She'll tune in. She'll listen like it matters because you matter. And that's the kind of presence you should never settle for less than. 5. She wants the benefits without the commitment. She wants the comfort, but not the commitment. She wants all the best parts of you, your time, your energy, your attention, your loyalty. But she doesn't want to give you anything solid in return. She wants boyfriend benefits, without the boyfriend title. She wants emotional support when life gets hard. She wants you on standby when she's bored or needs something. She wants you to listen, to show up, to stay available, just in case. But when you ask her to define things, she disappears behind vague answers. You ask, "What are we?" She replies with, "Let's not ruin what we have." Or, "I'm not ready for anything serious right now." Or the classic, "Why do we need labels?" But the truth is, she knows exactly what she's doing. She keeps it blurry on purpose, because that fog benefits her, not you. She gets all the advantages of a committed relationship. Your time, your protection, your consistency, your care, your emotional investment. But she avoids anything that requires her to give back. She doesn't offer clarity. She doesn't give consistency. She doesn't reciprocate with the same loyalty or depth. You keep hoping it'll grow into something real, that all your patience, kindness, and effort will eventually convince her to choose you. But she already made her choice. She chose to keep it undefined. She chose to take without giving. And what's worse, you start thinking it's your fault. You start believing that maybe if you were just more impressive, more stable, more patient, more whatever, she'd finally commit. But she won't. Not because you're not enough, but because she doesn't want to be held accountable. She likes the setup exactly how it is. You give, she takes. You stay available, she stays vague. You show loyalty, she keeps her options open. And this kind of manipulation is hard to spot, because it doesn't come with screaming. It comes with half smiles, warm hugs, soft lies, and just enough affection to keep you hopeful. She doesn't push you away. She just never pulls you in fully. And that confusion, that hope, that maybe we're close feeling, that's what keeps you stuck. She creates the illusion of intimacy just enough to keep you emotionally trapped. You're not with her, but you're not free either. You're not her man, but she expects you to act like one. You start shrinking yourself to fit the role she allows. You ignore your own needs just to keep her comfortable. You stop speaking up about what you want because every time you do, she dodges it, deflects it, or makes you feel guilty for even asking. And the longer you stay, the more it chips away at you. You feel drained. You feel confused. You feel stuck between almost and maybe, while deep down you know exactly what this is. It's not a relationship. It's a one-way street. Because here's the truth. If you're giving 100% and she's giving 30%, that's not chemistry. That's emotional labor. That's you carrying the whole connection on your back, while she reaps the rewards with zero responsibility. And over time, you lose more than just energy. You lose your self-respect. You stop recognizing the man you used to be, the one who had standards, the one who walked with confidence, the one who didn't settle for confusion. You get used to being in limbo. You get used to the lack of answers. You start convincing yourself that almost love is better than no love at all. But that's the lie. Because almost will never be enough for a man who knows his worth. A real woman, a woman who values you, won't play with your time. She won't make you beg for clarity. She won't drain your energy and dodge responsibility. She'll show up fully because she knows what she wants and she knows what you deserve. But if the woman in your life keeps enjoying all the benefits while refusing to build anything real with you, you're not in love. You're not in a relationship. You're in a trap. And the only way out is this. Stop proving yourself to someone who never intended to match your effort. Stop giving everything to someone who keeps offering you almost. Stop hoping for commitment from someone who treats loyalty like a bonus instead of a requirement. You are not a placeholder. You are not a backup plan. You are not a convenience. You are a man, and you deserve a connection that's clear, mutual, and real. Walk away from anything less, because real love won't keep you guessing. Real love won't take your best and give you confusion in return. Real love shows up completely, consistently, and without conditions. Walk away with strength. Let me talk to you like no one else has. As a man, to a man. You were never meant to chase respect. You were never meant to beg for love. You were never meant to lower yourself just to be seen by someone who refuses to look clearly. And yet, so many good men end up stuck in that exact place, giving more, explaining more, staying silent just to keep the peace, trying harder not because she asked, but because she stopped caring, and you hoped effort could fill the gap. But here's the truth that hits the hardest. Respect isn't earned by how much you give. It's earned by what you refuse to accept. You can buy gifts, be loyal, be patient, be consistent. But if she doesn't see your value, nothing you do will ever be enough. Not because you're not enough, but because she's already decided not to see you clearly. And it's not your job to fight that blindness. It's not your job to stay, explain, justify, or prove your worth every day. It's your job to walk away when staying means losing yourself. Not with anger, not with resentment, but with calm, quiet strength. Because real strength isn't loud. It's not in yelling or proving. It's in the silence of a man who knows he deserves better and refuses to beg for less. The world has lied to you. It told you that being a man means never quitting, that leaving is weakness, that staying loyal, no matter what, is what makes you noble. But let me correct that. Staying loyal to someone who disrespects you isn't noble, it's self-destruction. And leaving? That's not quitting, that's self-respect. Because here's what happens when you stay in places that drain you. You lose your voice. You doubt your instincts. You shrink to fit into a version of yourself that she'll accept even when that version no longer feels like you. And slowly, without realizing it, you stop leading. You stop building. You stop living. You become someone who waits. Waits for love. Waits for validation. Waits for change. But you weren't born to wait. You were born to walk forward with clarity, purpose, and power. You were not made to be someone's emotional support while they figure out if they want you. You were not made to be an option, a backup plan, a placeholder for the man she really wants. You are a leader. You are a protector. You are a builder. But you cannot protect or build for someone who refuses to protect your peace or build with you. So let this be your turning point. Not just in relationships, but in how you see yourself. You don't need to raise your voice to be heard. You don't need to get bitter to get better. You just need to walk away from confusion, away from disrespect, away from the situations that force you to question your own worth. And the moment you do, the moment you say, "No more," with calm conviction, that's when everything changes. Because when you walk away from someone who couldn't see your value, you finally make space for someone who will. And more than that, you make space for yourself. To breathe, to grow, to remember who you are. A man who protects his peace. A man who honors his standards. A man who doesn't settle not because he's arrogant, but because he knows his soul was never meant to be treated like an afterthought. So here's the truth, in the clearest words I can give you. If she can't respect your presence, then give her the gift of your absence. Not to hurt her, not to punish her, but to protect yourself. Because when you walk away with self-respect, you don't just leave behind a person, you leave behind the version of you that accepted less than you deserved. And in that space, you rise, you rebuild. You remember, this isn't just the end of a connection, it's the beginning of your power. And real power starts with walking away when being chosen costs you your peace.